As with all lymph massage, the first place we begin is with our breath. Oh, and make sure that you have lots of water. I would also like to remind you that because we are doing the face and neck, you might want to have tissue handy. I forgot my tissue, but that's okay. I do this every day. Hopefully it won't be anything dramatic. Oh, that's the other thing. A full lymph massage of the face and neck like we're doing today doesn't need to be done every day. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be done every day. This is something that can be done twice a week, once or twice a week, because it's a lot more entailed. A lymph massage that I have demonstrated in other videos, I do that every single day because it just stimulates the whole lymph system and gets it draining properly. When we work through with this one, it's simply important that we work through in the correct order and or direction and stimulate areas, and you can go back and re-stimulate. So for example, with most lymphatic massage, we start with the breath because there are only 3 ways that your lymph moves, and that is through breath, actual physical movement, and massage. So beginning with the breath, nice and deep, in and out through your nose. Actually, take a deep one in through our nose and out through our mouth. And breathing, nice, deep, diaphragmatic breaths. And as you continue to breathe, and we want to take at least 5 good long breaths before you even begin, remembering that we have our facial nodes as they come through here. We've also got our auricular nodes. Those are the ones that run through here. We've got glands that come through here, which also work through all of our vessels. We have our post-auricular node, which comes behind the ear. And these are all important spots that we're going to ask you to focus on, if you will. All of the cervical nodes, there's a lot. So we've got the posterior cervical node, which comes through a little bit farther behind, the deep cervical nodes in here. And if you look at how much pressure I'm putting on there, that's not a lot of pressure. And even that is sensitive. You just don't need to go deep for these at all. Now we've got the anterior cervical nodes, which come through around the front area. And these are on both sides. They're identical on both sides. Now we've got the submandibular, which come through underneath your chin area. And of course, the supraclavicle. So this is your clavicle. It's the supraclavicle, and it comes in through this area. When we do this part, I always ask you to just put yourself into like your Spock positioning, so we can, because that is going to be the correct. Now we've got lots of lymph nodes and lymph vessels coming through here. Now that we've taken our nice breaths, you're going to get your hands into position, and you're going to start and think of this like a hook, a nice little J hook. You're coming around and just you're running your fingers right in the clavicle, because this is the supraclavicle, and supra always means above. This is your full clavicle. This doesn't serve much purpose, but it can stimulate it nicely. And you're just dragging those fingers. You want to do these at least 10 times for your repetitions. Always remember to keep that deep belly breath going. And then we change sides, right to the opposite side. Same motion. And now this is not a race. Nice. Just think of it that way. I'm breathing. And I'm exhaling. Yes, you can go faster. But as we are specifically focusing on this lovely face and neck lymph drainage, let's take our time. And yes, so I will demonstrate. You can on your own. For today, I just want to keep this nice and slow. Some things I might speed up. You want to do minimum 10. You can do it 20. You could even choose to do time frames, 1 minute, 2 minutes, especially once we get into the cervical nodes. And you'll find like if you're feeling off, feel like you're coming down with something, do a cervical lymph massage. And we're going to stop with that one. That's to stimulate to start the beginning. And then we can just stimulate right through here. I just want us to start stimulating. And glasses need to come off. So if anyone writes to me, I'm not going to be able to read anything for a moment. And I just want you to start. We're just tapping. We're stimulating our system. I'm going to do the same thing here. And for this one, you can tap. I'm going to have to tap anyway. You can run your fingers through your hair. I have mine pulled up nice and tight so that way I can turn around for everyone and show you exactly the area that you're going through. And then we're just going to knock right here. This is the occipital point, right? And then I just want you to tap down. Remembering to breathe, those nice deep breaths. Before we come back now, starting with our face. So I'm going to start right on our brow, and you're just going to drag those fingers. Now, if you've got really dry skin, or if you've got really grippy fingers, you might want to use lotion or oil. Oil is usually recommended. I put something on my face before we got started, so that way my fingers wouldn't drag stretching too much. So as we're doing the brow, starting right up in the hairline, you can start to come down. We're making our way nice and slowly toward the eyebrow. Once we get to the eyebrow, now you can start. See my fingers just coming? One above the eyebrow, one below the eyebrow. If you want to drag the top fingers, you can. Drag the bottom fingers. See how gentle that is? You can barely see a pull of the skin, just a tiny bit. You want to be super, super gentle. Now, because we've got them right underneath our eyes, gentle little tap. And if you're super sensitive area, do it with your pinkies because it's the weakest finger that you own. Nice little tapping. And then we can start in the center with our nose. Now in the face, so in the body, typically our movements all go towards the heart, if you will. Here, we have a movement of lymph that works in this direction and then comes around and down. And so we're working with that direction. Remembering to breathe. We're just working our way around those nasals. Now you could choose to use also the backs of your fingers. So if you don't want that to grip, you can also choose to use, I find that that's a little too forceful for me. I had a doctor show me that one. Sometimes it works. In the wintertime, it's better when you're really dry and not perspiring, nothing sticky. And now we're coming through with our face. And I want you to get it from your lip. And think of this like I've just gently put on some lotion and I'm just scooping that lotion up right on my jawline up. So again, we've got these fingers that do this beautiful thing so they can work above and below that jawline. And now just coming from our temple down the front of the ear. Remember that this one is where we get our pre-arcular nodes, and then the post-arcular nodes will come behind the ear. I should turn the other way. And now we're going to come around and down. So for that one, actually, I can turn this way. We're coming from the nose up and around. Now, if we want to stop and just do one hand at a time, focusing, you're coming down from the bridge of your nose, right through the nasal labia fold, bringing it back up around, behind the ear, and down. I always like to do both hands at the same time for two reasons. One, remember what we said about movement? So this is like as if we're exercising, we're getting the movement, but it also saves time. Just as long as you remember what you're doing, you're okay. And now we're just going to do up on here where all those lovely little vessels are. And we're just going to encourage them to drain down. Just gentle, 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 gentle. Going to the back of the head. Remember how we had all those lymph vessels that came up? Now, because you have hair here and it's hands-on hair, if you want to put more pressure, you can. Not hard, just because you've got to get through your hair first. So you're coming right through this line, right through the occipital point, and just think of yourself right through the cervical, right on either side of the spine. And you can bring that down now. Now you want to come right to the base of that skull. You want to wipe it out. And now is a great time. You can use the whole base of your hand. As we're working with, now remember the posterior. As we start to get into the posterior, I'm going to come up from behind my ear and come down. And if you're looking straight doing this, then it's going to be nice and easy. And you're just coming up into the hairline and down. You're dragging your fingers. Because you're not on your face here, and the lymph nodes and lymph vessels are just slightly deeper on this area, you don't have to be, be gentle, but you don't have to worry if you're gripping a bit more. It's not the face. The face skin is so thin. Now, from the posterior, we're moving ourselves toward the front. We're going to do our deep cervical nodes first. So we're coming just from under the ear, under the jawbone area, and coming straight down. I want you to feel that jugular area. Got that one? So now you can choose to do both at the same time. You're going to breathe. You can also choose to use the sides of your fingers as though you're scooping something or moving something with your finger on the side. Those nice breaths. And as you work your way around, so remember how we did the posterior, and I said you could be a little firmer when you come closer. And we're doing the deep, even though they're deep cervical nodes, you're not putting on lots of pressure. It's nice and light. And I would just say to you, Just feel that. Just tap in there. Feel that, like especially where your jugular is. You don't want pressure on there. That would hurt. That would actually physically hurt you, not just hurt your core lymph nodes. Now, as we're coming into jawline and we're coming forward, you can just think of this right around the throat. And I don't know if you can feel that already, but I've got what would I suppose be considered postnasal drip. And so you should be swallowing now. As you're activating the whole system to drain. And so now that we've got that whole thing done, we can come back. Remember what I had said? We can come back here. Remember to take those nice, smooth, deep breaths. Ten on each side. And now we're going to roll. So hands on your shoulders and just roll. Keeping those nice deep breaths in. And can you feel that difference? Now, we're just going to do a little stimulation like we did, but this time we're going to do it with tapping. So just tap, 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 tap. And from that one, go all the way around and behind, and then coming around from your jawline, down, and remember the back of your head, all the way down, covering that occipital point right on the cranial, go all the way down the back of the skull. This time come right to your shoulders. And now, we're just going to do something on our arms. When we have all of these draining, we want to then encourage the full drainage to go down. Remember, this is what I said in the beginning. So you can stop there. However, I like making certain I get the upper lymphatic system, the upper limbs working with that, so it drains fully, especially since these lymph nodes are so incredibly important. So starting from the top, you can just gently rub upwards. Just do that a few times, and then you want to turn your arm. And you just want to cover all the area of your arm. I'm starting on the left side. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. And then once we get to our underarm or armpit area, we're just going to massage that, starting from behind. You're just pulling that forward. Now we're pulling. You saw how the arm comes up. We're going towards the heart. This same. We're bringing it and pulling towards the heart. This is, think heart-centered. And then we can do the opposite side. Rubbing our fingers up. Turning it over, getting it on the opposite. Remembering to breathe. And covering the whole arm. And you want this to not be down here. You want it to be up here. Think of gravity when working with your lymph system as well. Now, probably rest our hand, behind as we come back to this area. And you're bringing that in. And you'll also find for this one, you're using pressure like a gentle massage. Think of it that way, gentle massage. As you're pulling that in, bringing it towards the chest. Remembering to breathe, always taking, during this whole process, you're taking nice, deep belly breaths. And then we can just tap right here, right on the thymus. And we have lymph nodes in here as well. Or you can rub. I happen to love tapping. And breathe. You can shake that out. I thank you all for joining me. And now go and enjoy your days. And I'll see you in the next session. Bye now.